This is Andy Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Adam Smith here in Nottingham. Adam, it's just gone past midnight. And we're stood here. An unbelievable night and an unbelievable finisher. Anthony Cacace successful with a stoppage victory against Leigh Wood. What did you make of that main event?
Well, we're standing outside Leigh's Nottingham Forest dressing room, and you've got to feel for him, first of all, gutting, brave to the end. Brilliant decision by Ben Davison to throw the towel in. I thought Andi Cacace was superb tonight. He looked so much bigger in the ring anyway. Leigh obviously had been out for 19 months, in activity, going up in weight. Didn't seem to me to have the sharpness that he did a while back. And we're saying in comms you can never write him off, but it felt tonight as though he wasn't going to find that sort of come from behind victory. I thought Cacace was smart. I thought his jab was great, both from the orthodox and the southpaw stance. I think he sort of did a Leigh Wood almost. Leigh grew up with Brendan and Dominic and the switch hitting, and it was Cacace who turned the tables tonight. And sometimes I remember Ricky Hatton landing so many body shots throughout his career and winning so many by knockout, and then his last fight he was knocked out by a body shot. And in a way I felt the tables were turned tonight, and Leigh Wood got outdone by something that he grew up on, which was interesting. Cacace was smart. He was just too big, too sharp, too good for Leigh Wood on this night. I think a couple of years ago it might have been a different story, but boxing's strange, right? You go with rhythm and momentum, and Cacace is at the best. In the best form at the best stage of his life at 36, and Leigh Wood isn't, and that's just the way it goes. But I feel for Leigh, but I feel really delighted for Anthony as well. He's had a hard, tough journey to this point, and he should be very, very proud of himself.
You said there that maybe a couple of years ago it may have been a different story. Obviously, it's been 18 months for Leigh's last fight prior to tonight. How much of a factor do you feel like the lack of activity might have played his part tonight?
I think it was a combination of things. I think, first of all, it was how good Cacace was. Secondly, I think it was the inactivity. I think he wasn't quite as sharp. Thirdly, I think it was the weight. I think, he's at featherweight, he punched so hard, and maybe at super featherweight that didn't have the same effect. But really, Cacace just outboxed him tonight and finished him. I mean, he was behind on one of the cards. Steve Gray had, I think, Leigh Wood up 77 to 75. It's not how I saw it. It's not how we saw it at ringside. I thought Cacace was in a handy lead, and I thought it was Leigh Wood that would need the late knockout, like he found against Mick Conlan. But Cacace, I think, wanted to make sure, and he hurt him early, and then obviously when he hurt him again in the ninth round, he wanted to sort of finish it there and then, and I thought his follow-up was brilliant, just like against Joe Cordina. It's an incredible story. A guy that was delivering pizzas and Chinese and having another job, and just where he's got to, it's brilliant. But Leigh Wood's had an amazing journey, and we've had some phenomenal nights both here in Nottingham and around the country, and he can be very, very proud of his career, whatever he decides to do now.
I want to ask on one, away from all of this, we had the Alexander Usyk-Dubois fight announced.
Yeah.
Will it be a repeat or revenge, Adam?
Good question. I think Alexander starts the favourite, of course. How do you go against a guy that's done what he's done at cruiserweight, at heavyweight, beating AJ and Fury twice, and he looks so good against Tyson in the last 3 or 4 rounds. So I think he'll look to pick off from there, pick up, and he loves London, and I think he'll see this as a bit of a homecoming, because I think he adores England, and he wants to fight in Ukraine if he can before he finishes. But yeah, I see Usyk as a favourite in the fight, but I think that the margins have closed. I think that Dubois is in the form of his life, the momentum he's got since Miller, Hrgovic, and of course Joshua is mentally, I think, for him, a big ingredient into this. And physically, I think he's a terrific all-round fighter who can really punch. So he's got a real chance in there to become undisputed in front of his home crowd at Wembley Stadium. What an amazing story. But I think it's going to be very, very tough to beat Usyk.
Adam, I appreciate your time as always. Safe travels back home, and I'm sure I'll see you at some point next week.
Absolutely look forward to it, Andy.